Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this project blog run with you today, guys. And as you already know, I have done my predictions on game against Levante for Football Club Barcelona. And actually, I was very satisfied with the video because when I look back at it, I predicted a lot of things that actually happened in that match. So my prediction was very, very accurate. I actually said what I expect from the game and how Barcelona can beat the Levante side, and most of the things actually happened. And the lineup that I said Hansi Flick should start with actually almost finished the match because Gavi came on as a substitute. Also, Dani Olmo came on, Christensen came on. So it was very, very close to my prediction. So now this is the reason why I will talk about Rayo Vallecano and Football Club Barcelona. I want to recreate this prediction and actually maybe tell you guys what we can expect from the game in more detail. And why in more detail? Well, let me move to the next slide. Because, as you know, some of you might know, I really like Rayo Vallecano and I have been following them for a very long time. Ever since Andoni Iraola was their coach, I really enjoyed this rise of this small team from Madrid. They always played good football despite their low budget, and I really liked what I saw. And now Iraola is gone from the team and their new coach is Inigo Perez, and his football principles and ideology has not changed whatsoever. And before I talk about tactics, I want to tell you about Rayo Vallecano themselves a little bit more. Despite the fact that they are a very small team, they have very certain and very interesting footballing philosophy. They play 4-2-3-1 formation, which is very aggressive formation in itself because you sacrifice a midfielder, and historically Johan Cruyff didn't quite like the 4-2-3-1 formation, but coaches like Andoni Iraola, Inigo Perez have made this formation work. And if we look at the biggest sides in world football, even someone like Hansi Flick plays 4-2-3-1, so this formation is not bad whatsoever. Second point is the fact that they play very direct football. They like to play fast football, they like to play chaotic football, they like to win the ball back quickly and go direct, fast, either with short passes or long passes. They like to absorb pressure and then break quickly, or they can adapt and press opposition high, win the ball back, and counter quickly, scoring some great and beautiful goals. Wingers also, the biggest factor in their team is wingers, because if you look at their current side, they have players like Izzy Palazon and Garcia, very fast wingers, just direct players, like to cut inside. So wingers play crucial role in their success. Teamwork also is one of the main factors in their team, because at times they press high, and if one player does not buy into the system, the whole system collapses. Because as we know, you are as strong as your weakest link is weak. Therefore, every single player has to work extremely hard, and they actually do so. Therefore, they make the system work very well. And the final 2 points to encapsulate their style of play is the fact that coaches both Iraola and Inigo Perez allowed their players certain amount of freedom, and the players became protagonists themselves, because they are very structured side defensively and when they press, but in the final area and attacking third, they allow their players freedom. Some players like to shoot from distance. I will talk about it in the tactical preview. There's one midfielder who likes to shoot from 20-30 meters out every single game, and it is predictable, but he has a cannon of a foot, so it becomes dangerous. But to encapsulate this point, the both coaches do allow their players a lot of tactical freedom and fluidity. And then finally, the final point I want to make is the fact that they play extremely creative football. It is, if you had to compare it with mathematician and poet, I would say that these two are poets. The creativity that we see from their teams is spectacular. Their midfielders are calm on the ball, and the best way to describe this football is the fact that they are more of a proactive than reactive team. And I always enjoy watching proactive teams more than reactive teams. Therefore, and hence, I have watched them a lot and followed them a lot. So I know quite a bit about this team. And now, interestingly enough, Usually, I make my predictions of score before talking about tactics. Today, I want to talk about it before. So, what do I predict from this game? If I look at it as Barcelona fan, we have some great individuals and I expect fireworks because I look at it, yes, we do have some great players. Rayo will play some good football, so I expect us to beat them 2-4 away from home. But if I look at it as a neutral football fan, which is more objective look, I do expect Barcelona to drop points on Sunday, unfortunately, because you cannot always win. You will lose, you will draw some games, and defense has looked relatively shaky in first two games. And if there is one team that can exploit this defense, it is Rayo Vallecano, especially at home. And Barcelona will struggle a lot because when you look at it, Levante, yes, they went 2 goals ahead on Barcelona, but Barcelona did manage to score 3 goals, but it was mostly because they made some crucial errors and also because their individual quality was not as high. But when you look at the Rayo Vallecano, they're very, very well drilled and experienced side with some great footballers, so they will not make the same mistakes as Levante did. So I do expect, in best case scenario, as a neutral football fan, it to finish in 1-1, 2-2 draw, but as the worst case scenario unfortunately can happen, I do think we can also lose this game by a 1 goal, by 2 goals, and the game could easily finish 2-1, 3-1, 3-2 in the favor of Rayo Vallecano. So to encapsulate it, I do hope that Barcelona will win the game. It is what my heart says. I do think we can beat them with a lot of goals scored by both sides. But if I look at it with my head and with my logic, I do think that we can lose this game, unfortunately. So, guys, these are my predictions. And now, oddly enough, let's move to the tactical board. So, indeed, guys, we are here on the tactical board, and I want to talk about this game in little bit less detail because it is not as important to look at details because we all know both teams will play 4-2-3-1 and lineups will go as follows most likely. Barcelona will play Juan Garcia, Balde, Garcia, Araujo at the backline, and there you could play Koundé, but I do think Eric Garcia will keep starting games. In midfield, congratulations to Frankie de Jong on his second newborn. Congratulations to him and his wife, and I do think he will be back in the team. And next to him, we will see Pedri, no questions about it. Then we will see Dani Olmo, who scored beautiful goal against Rayo Vallecano last season. I do think he has done not enough, but I don't think players like Gavi or Rashford have done enough to overtake him in the starting lineup. Therefore, I do think Olmo will start this game. Then on wings, we'll have Rafinha cutting inside on this half space and pocket somewhere here, playing around, running everywhere, and Lamine Yamal, the only structured player, always playing here in this area, keeping the width, always moving around this area, making some interesting movements and dribbles. So I do think this is the lineup we can expect. Not many surprises. Maybe you could start Ferran Torres over Lewandowski, and I would not be surprised. But if we start Ferran for this game, the percentage of us winning decreases a lot because with Lewandowski, I do think the 4-2, even though it is unlikely, becomes more likely, but with Ferran, it is almost inevitable that we unfortunately will lose the game. It is nothing against Ferran, but it is simply the fact that his profile is not good enough, in my opinion, to beat Rayo Vallecano. And speaking about Rayo Vallecano, let's talk about the team. I do think they will play 4-2-3-1 with Batalla in goal, Chavaria, Felipe, Lejeune, and Rakiu at the back four, Unai together with Cis in midfield with Diaz, and two wingers, very, very important players, very fast players, Real Madrid Castilla Academy product, Palazon, Isi Palazon, and winger Garcia. Alvaro Garcia, very fast, one of the fastest players in La Liga, extremely tricky footballer. And then up top, Jorge de Frutos. He is more of a winger, but he offers this ability to drop deeper. He's smart footballer. He can make the right decisions. Of course, he's not going to occupy the box very, very well and be the presence in that area, and he might not read plays very very well. Let's say ball will bounce here, he will not read it well enough. He has not got that striker's instinct, but what he does have is ability to come deeper, collect the ball, create some overloads in some areas. He's just a smart footballer that can offer a lot to the team tactically. And now let's talk about the tactical fight. But before that, you have to look at this team because they could easily build whole different 11, and this still would be very very good side with Cardenas, Espino, new signing. I will not even try to say his name, but he is very very good center back, together with Barcelona's academy player Pelayo, Bayu at a right back, Valentin, very good footballer, one of their captains, another La Masia player, defensive midfielder Gumbau, made a mistake against Athletic Club, but still very very good player, Oscar Trejo. I don't think he's 37 years old, but still very good player, can play attacking midfielder role. He's more like Santi Cazorla. His legs are gone, but he can still pull some great passing. Fran Perez, genuinely, he has played a lot, but I am not fan of his. I don't like him as a footballer whatsoever, but he's there. And the irony goes like this: I talk bad things about him, and now probably he will come on as a substitute and score against Barcelona, scoring the second winning goal, unfortunately. But all in all, if I look at it logically, I don't like him one bit as a footballer. And then two attackers they have on the bench is Cameo. He was a big talent. He's very raw. He has to improve his finishing. I do think he has lost a lot of confidence in recent years. And he had that hype about him like a few years ago when he was still at Atletico de Madrid. He was loaned to Rayo Vallecano, didn't quite explode. He had good season, but he didn't have this unbelievable season. He also was injured last season. I think he broke his foot or something. He missed a lot of games, and now he's like a bench option, not the best player in the world, but still he can come on and maybe show glimpses of his talent. And then they have a Randy Intake, capable of playing up top, pressing forward, capable of playing in center of midfield. Very physical footballer, very good footballer. And now finally, let's talk about tactics once and for all. So what we can expect from the game is the fact that Barcelona will line up like this, with this 4-2-3-1 formation, building from the back, and I do think that they will sometimes press high, sometimes will even go man to man, because they are capable of it, like this aggressive pressing with like a lot of players, and then just maybe leaving two players at the back to fight with Lewandowski for the aerial balls if we decide to go long, because Lejeune is extremely experienced and very very good footballer. It will be difficult to break them down. And also one thing about Lejeune, be careful when he gets in these areas, he can easily take it from distance and score, because he has a wonderful right foot. And I actually talked about the player that can shoot a lot from distance, and it is not Lejeune, it is Diaz, their attacking midfielder. I do think that if we occupy this area right here, it becomes very dangerous, because he can take it from distance very very well. Last season he scored a brilliant goal against Real Madrid from distance, scoring of the crossbar, and in roughly from this distance you can rewatch the goal. I was very happy when it went in. So they do have some talented players, and in possession you don't know what you expect from them, because Easy Palazon can come in, Ratiu can overlap, the Frutos can come here, Unai Lopez can come here, Diaz can be somewhere here. They can create overloads and confuse Football Club Barcelona. They can do something completely different. The Frutos can come here, maybe Diaz can come here, Palazon can stay wide, Ratiu can form a back three, and Unai drop deeper. Maybe Ratiu comes in and Unai drops deeper, creating back three. So they are very unpredictable side, and that's both their biggest strength and their biggest weakness, because their biggest weakness is the fact that they don't have it drilled down, so it is creative. Therefore it isn't worked on to a level that becomes almost automatic. Like, let's say Arsenal and their set plays, they do the same thing every single time, so it becomes routine and it becomes unstoppable. For them, they are more of a creative team, therefore it becomes less predictable, but it is not as high of a level thing that they do, because it is not worked on 24/7. And their biggest strength is also the fact that they are unpredictable, because it is a double-edged sword, because if you have a certain system and you're fixated on it, it becomes more predictable, but it becomes better. But when you don't have this specific build phase, it becomes less predictable, but it also is not as good. So it will be difficult for us to predict what they do, and I do expect they can create some overloads in unexpected areas. Fans behind them, they can score one good goal, maybe work the ball into the box, score a great goal. So it is how it becomes very predictable from them. And then finally, what can I expect from Barcelona? Well, I mean, I can expect that we will control the ball in some instances of the play, but I don't expect it to be a lot of times, because, I mean, I do expect the possession to be like 60 to Barcelona and 40 for Rayo Vallecano, because they are a very good team that can control the game. And as I said, they have very hardworking players in their team. Therefore, I do expect Palazon can work back very well, marking Balde. Garcia can work back, either helping Chavaria double mark Yamal, or even Eric Garcia. Someone like the Frutos can drop deeper in the same line with Diaz. So if they actually struggle a lot, they can drop deeper, and it becomes the same story that we had against Levante, when you allow Araujo to carry the ball in dangerous areas, and then whenever he just gets in these areas, someone like Sis can step up, and we go backwards and become more predictable. They step up, start pressing, and it becomes more difficult. So as always, if we want to win this game, someone like Yamal will have to have brilliant game, beating multiple players on dribble, because it is probably the only way you can with 100% certainly break them down. When Yamal gets the ball, he beats a couple of players on dribble and pulls them out of their position completely, maybe finds some incredible pass to Lewandowski, and he has his scoring boots and he scores. So this is the way to beat Rayo Vallecano: get the ball to Yamal and make him do his magic. Someone like Rafinha, of course, can also make good runs. Someone like Olmo can score a long shot. Maybe someone like Pedri can recreate his beautiful performance with either a beautiful pass or something unheard of, some brilliant, incredible assist that no one has ever seen before. So to beat Rayo Vallecano, you have to be on top tactically. You have to do something out of nothing, as we did against Levante. You have to have 10 out of 10 performance to beat them. So my prediction, unfortunately, for this game will be 1-2 victory for Rayo Vallecano, but I hope Barcelona prove me wrong and win this game. So thank you guys for watching this video. It was Project Blogger with you today, guys. It was pleasure, and see you guys on the next video. Thank you. Bye.